This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Terror strikes London yet again. A van plowing into pedestrians as worshipers leave a mosque. The mayor calling it, without a doubt, a terror attack. What witnesses are saying about the incident. And under investigation or not, what President Trump's attorneys are now saying about obstruction of justice claims, despite President Trump's very own tweets. And cracking down on drunk drivers, what Governor Greg Abbott's now signed into law for the first time, offenders. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak. It is 4:30. I'm Brian Mays. Let's begin this Monday and this week with a look at what we're tracking. And Erica just tells me we had our first 100-degree day of the year on Saturday. Eric.
Yeah, that's right. It was a warm weekend in general on Saturday and Sunday, topping out at 100 degrees at Camp Mabry. Here's a look at what we have on clouds and radar this morning. Just some low-level clouds. It's north of us where the rain shower activities are approaching, but still remaining north of Dallas. It's a weak frontal boundary that could bring in a spotty shower for us here, but that frontal boundary will stall out just to the north of us and keep folks north of our viewing area on the busy side. But we'll still call it a 20% chance for an isolated shower, partly sunny out there, and also into tonight, a partly cloudy afternoon and still a shower chance until about 8 p.m. So we have a busy next several days in store, talking temperatures, rain chances, and also the tropics are heating up. So I'll break down those details later on this morning. Brian, back to you.
Erica, thank you. Breaking news once again out of London. This time a group of Muslim worshipers targeted. As Muslims were leaving a mosque, a van plowed into the crowd on the sidewalk there. Witnesses say the man, the driver, did it on purpose, and police now say the incident is being treated as a terrorist attack. At least one person was killed at the scene, several others injured. As ABC's Molly Hunter reports, the man who was behind the wheel now in custody.
Overnight, another chaotic scene in London.
It went like hysterical. I can't even describe how it was. I was just running around.
Police descending on a mosque after a vehicle ran over nearly a dozen people. Witnesses saying the van turned down a one-way street and accelerated, plowing into a crowd of worshipers who were just leaving evening prayers, with just 1 week left in the holy month of Ramadan.
Basically drove on the pavement, coming straight towards all the Muslims.
Now here's the police cordon. We can't go any further than this, but it's just behind there. That white van turned onto a one-way street before plowing through people in front of a mosque. This man says it was a deliberate act, and the man under arrest was targeting Muslims.
At the beginning, he was saying, "Where's all Muslims? I want to kill all Muslims."
And these dramatic moments, bystanders wrestling the subject from the van, holding him down until police arrived. He is 48 years old, and eyewitnesses describe him as a white man with an English accent.
Whatever happened there was done in a very vindictive way. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't that the person was drunk and the van went out of control.
This is being treated as a terrorist attack, and the Counter-Terrorism Command is investigating.
The Mayor of London calling it a horrific terrorist attack. It comes just weeks after a van veered into pedestrians on the London Bridge, setting off vehicle and knife attacks that killed 8 people and wounded many more. 3 Muslim extremists who carried out that attack were killed at the time by police. Everyone who witnessed last night's attack said it was without a doubt a terrorist attack. The anger here this morning still palpable. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
This morning, we now know the names of the 7 sailors killed when a U.S. destroyer collided with a Philippines merchant vessel. One of the sailors, 26-year-old Noe Hernandez, is from Weslaco, Texas. The Navy's 7th Fleet said searchers found the bodies after the guided missile destroyer returned to its base in Japan. The collision happened Saturday morning while many of the crew members slept. The container ship plowed right into the crew's living quarters, giving them just minutes to escape and save the ship.
They had to fight the ship to keep it above the surface, so it was traumatic. This was a severe emergency, but the ship's crew was swift and responsive, and I can't tell you how proud I am of the crew for what they did to save the ship.
Now, the area where the ships crashed into each other sees heavy maritime traffic. 400 to 500 vessels cross this area daily. This morning, the congressman shot during a baseball practice last week is improving. Doctors have upgraded House Majority Whip Steve Scalise's condition from critical to serious. The Louisiana congressman is awake and speaking with loved ones. He was wounded during that shooting at a congressional baseball practice outside of Washington, D.C. back on Wednesday of last week. Congressman Roger Williams set to speak here in Austin today about that shooting in D.C. He talked in Fort Worth on Saturday. Congressman Williams hurt his ankle running for cover. He says he's thankful for the police officers who responded quickly and prevented the situation from being even worse. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a new law designed to prevent drunk driving. House Bill 3016 provides new incentives for convicted drunk drivers to get an ignition interlock device on their vehicle if they plan on driving during the license suspension period following their arrest. If they successfully use the device for 6 months, they can apply for a one-time non-disclosure and have the DWI removed from their record. The law gives first-time drunk drivers with a .08 to .14 blood alcohol concentration a second chance. Only offenders who have not caused injury or property damage are eligible to apply. Travis County Sheriff's Office is investigating a fatal crash in Steiner Ranch. Happened on North Quinlan Park near Steiner Ranch Elementary School just before 10 p.m. Austin Travis County EMS saying a man in his 20s was killed after crashing into a tree. According to witnesses, the drivers hit the sidewalk barrier, flipped over several times, spun around, and then crashed into the tree. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. A manhunt underway this morning for the gunman that shot and killed a 17-year-old in New Braunfels. This happened back on Saturday night. Police say they responded to a call about a shooting and a possible disturbance. When they arrived, they found the victim, identified as Conrad Kuntz, suffering from a gunshot wound. Medics tried to revive the 17-year-old, but he died from his injuries.
He wasn't responding, and I shook his chest, and I kept telling him to squeeze my hand if he could hear me, and he wasn't saying anything. He wasn't even responding at all.
Police are offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to the gunman. This week, President Donald Trump expected to speak on the possible White House tapes of former FBI Director James Comey. That's according to one of his attorneys, who's also hoping to clear the air on whether the president is actually under investigation. But the president and his team sending mixed messages. Back on Friday, President Trump tweeted, quote, "I'm being investigated for firing the FBI director by the man who told me to fire the FBI director. Witch hunt," end quote. Yesterday, Trump's attorney appeared unable to clear up the confusion.
And now he's being investigated by the Department of Justice.
You've now said that he is being investigated after saying that you didn't.
No.
You just said,
no, he's
sir,
not being investigated.
You just said that he's being investigated.
I do not appreciate you putting words in my mouth when I've been crystal clear that the president is not and has not been under investigation. I don't think I could be any clearer than that.
Well,
Now, despite growing concern, the president may move to fire the special counsel or his bosses at the Justice Department. Republican Senator Marco Rubio insisted the investigation should run its course. It is time once again to check on our forecast. Expecting another warm week here in Austin this week. Erica Lopez has the detail.
That's right. Still on the warm side, slightly above average, but not as warm as last week. Last week definitely felt like we were in the middle of summer, but technically summer doesn't start until tomorrow. Here's a look at your current temperatures out there this morning. Some 80s for isolated spots across the hill country. Llano at 81. Austin 78 degrees is what you're waking up to this morning. And then our current temperatures north of us, well, check out the green shaded and yellow shaded colors. Those are temps in the 60s because a frontal boundary is pushing through northern Texas and also portions of Oklahoma and Arkansas right now. That's where we have some light to moderate rain shower activity. No severe weather associated with it, but some rain approaching the Dallas metro area. Some of those showers could approach us later this morning. We are calling it a 20% chance of a spotty shower because that frontal boundary is expected to stall out just north of us. So it's not necessarily going to pass through us, but it could spark up an isolated shower throughout late this morning and into early this afternoon. Needless to say, highs will be in the mid to upper 90s. Again, not as bad as this weekend, though. We're going to get a break from triple-digit temperatures. Back to you.
Erica, thank you. A Travis County man facing animal cruelty charges this morning after leaving an 8-week-old puppy inside of a hot car. This happened back on Saturday while that man went into a Manor area Walmart. KVUE's Nicole Rosales spoke to Manor police about their role in rescuing the puppy.
20-year-old Chandler Bullen has been booked into Travis County Jail. He told police he was inside the store for about half an hour, just enough time for his puppy to get heat stroke. A small puppy desperate for air, saved by a Manor officer. This is body cam footage from a Manor police officer Saturday. He was dispatched to this Walmart after receiving a call about a dog locked inside a hot car. Police say the car wasn't running, the doors were locked, the windows rolled up, and the sunroof was partially opened. So they got a tire iron, reached inside, and was able to get the puppy out safely. That's when the owner showed up, and that's when police questioned him.
His reaction was basically he didn't want to waste gas.
Chandler Bullen was charged with animal cruelty. For Sergeant Randall Anderson, it's heartbreaking. He has 2 dogs of his own.
It's sad to hear, because they're defenseless, much like children. They can't get out of the car by themselves, and they're kind of just stuck in there. So they rely on the owner to take care of them and be responsible.
That's Nicole Rosales reporting. Now, police say the best thing you can do for your puppy, leave them at home. And if you have to take them with you to run errands in the non-peak hours of the day when it's not the hottest. Bullen's bond set at $4,000. Wrong-way crashes kill more than 1,000 people each year. What highway officials are doing to prevent these collisions. Plus, a teen driver crushed in her car by an 18-wheeler. Why this case could encourage new federal regulations for sleep testing. Stay with us.